Here's the necklace that I got that you would have seen in the thrift haul that I showed a few days ago. And I got it specifically for the purpose of crafting with it. I saw after, I'll try to put a picture maybe right here of this mark, which is very hard to read right here, but this actually turned out to be a Trifari piece. But I have already committed to craft with this. I just already see it as earrings and a purse charm and a necklace. So I am going to turn it into those things right now and figured I would do a little craft with me to let you see the whole process. I know some people may feel strongly about me crafting an otherwise perfectly good Trifari necklace, but I just like to be crafty, and once I've committed to something, I've already seen it as something else, it's hard for me to not follow through. So I'm going to begin by opening the jump rings. I think that's the opening right there. I'm going to open the jump rings that hold these little drops, I guess, or pendants. Again, with the twisting motion, I've mentioned that before, but for anybody new here, I do that because it's easier to get the ends of the ring to meet back together a lot better when I do a twisting motion versus a separating motion. So of course I'm going to keep those rings. These are the items that I got to craft with. Again, these little hard felt tubs or dishes or whatever you want to call them. I got a lot of those a long time ago. Well, not too long ago, really, just a few months ago at my local Dollar Tree, and they're perfect for gathering up the pieces for a project. And I wish I'd gotten more of them because they don't have them now, and they're perfect for that purpose. And then they stack together neatly because they all match. So they stack together very neatly when they're not being used, which means it saves space and storage, and it's a lot easier to keep my space looking neat and tidy. So now I've got these pieces all removed, and here they are. I hope I'm not upsetting anybody by crafting with this perfectly fine Trifari necklace, but here's how I envisioned it. Here's the necklace, and here's a single earring. I'm going to lose that back. This is an acrylic faceted stone set in silver tone with these pave set rhinestones. This is unmarked, I believe. Yes, it's unmarked. So I'm going to loop this post around to connect it to the center right here. And then I'm going to make these little drops out of these glass faceted beads and hang them on each side like that. And then these crystals will kind of complete the look. These little things here are going to become earrings. These, I think, are going to help hold the little pendants in place. And then this will be a purse charm. Let's move everything down a little bit so it'll be more in frame. So that's kind of how everything's going to go together. And then these little things are going to go, some of them with the purse charm, and some will work with the pendant here. All that's going to happen with the earrings is that I'm just going to hang these directly onto the hooks. These will be the simplest, so they will be the first. And I'll just hang it directly on, just like that, and then close that hook up. And then these will be all set. There'll be lots of nice movement in these. The little tassels will swing freely. And you know, the little flower doesn't swing as freely as I want it to, so I'm actually going to open this hook back up, and I'm going to put rings on there. Let's see, I will use the rings that came with it. I thought I would use these rings on the pendant, but I think I'll just get other rings for that. Okay, so close these back up, and what these will do is allow the little tassel and the flower to move more freely. It just was kind of stiff, and I'm actually going to need two because of the way the rings are going to be oriented now. So let me go ahead and put the ring on the other one, and then each one of those will actually need a second ring. Okay, got that closed up nice and tight. So I'm going to go get some more rings and I'll be right back. And here are the rings I got, so let's add those. Every time you add a ring, you're going to change the direction that something faces, the direction that the pendant or whatever you have hanging from something else. Every time you add a ring, you're going to be changing the direction that it faces. So if you, in this case, it was facing the right direction, I just needed more movement with it. So that requires adding two rings. So it'll be hanging the correct direction, hanging front instead of sideways when I have it on the earring wire. Those two ends didn't close quite as well as, or the ends don't match up quite as exactly as I want them to. So I'll just work with that and get those ends to meet. Okay, does that do it? Just about. A quick squeeze right here ought to do it. And that did it. So now I can hang the wire back on it. It'll be facing front instead of sideways. And then I'll just close that up right there. And there it is. It'll be nice and swingy and pretty. Earring number one. And since I've already gone through it with the first one, I already know that I'm going to need a second ring for the other earring. I think I need to open it up a little wider. There we go. And then hang it on. So, what are your thoughts? Am I committing sacrilege by taking apart a perfectly fine Trifari necklace and making it into something else? Let me know your thoughts. Just be kind when you let me know your thoughts. Sometimes I look at something and I just can't help it. I just see it as something else. And that's the case here. So here these are these pretty little flower dangle earrings. So that's the first thing that I've made out of this necklace. Now I'm going to just do the very first part here of the purse charm. I'll do the rest of it after I get this done. And this first part is to just hang the little flower fringe thing onto the ring, and then I'm going to use these crystals to make a little extra thing to go on it so it'll have a nice weight to it. Here we go. Well, that didn't meet quite. is exactly as I want it to. There we go, that's better. So this is just part one of the first charm. Part two will be coming up. First thing I'm going to do is get this first part of the necklace done. And so I'm going to bend this post around into a loop, and I'm going to hang it on the center right here of the pendant. Let's see, should I bend it like up like that or down like that? If I bend it up, it'll hang more like this. Like this. If I bend it downward, it'll probably hang more like this. And I kind of like that dividing line right there actually, so I think I'm going to bend it downward. So I'll just take my needle nose pliers. And I'll get it started bending around. And then put it onto the pendant before I complete bending it around. I think that's going to look, oops, wrong pliers. I think that's going to look really nice. I'm going to go off camera to complete this so I can look more closely at it without looking through the camera. So I'll be right back. And here it is. I have bent the post all the way around. You can see right there, I put it through that hole that the center part of that's going to be the purse charm was actually hanging on. So I put it through that hole and then curved it around all the way up against the back of the now pendant, formerly earring, to keep it nice and secure. And there's just enough give for it to have some movement. And I like how it has that dividing line. This reminds me of a whale tail, but I digress. So I'm going to now move forward with the rest of this and how this is going to go. I'm going to take on each one of these sides, I'm going to take a glass faceted bead, and I have these little tiny rhinestone rondelles that are not going to focus for you very easily, but they're little tiny rondelles with rhinestones all the way around. So each of these will get one of those. Oh, that goes on the bottom, and then one of these little bead caps on the top. Bead cap on top, rondelle on the bottom. And then I'm going to thread that onto these head pins. So it will look just like that. And then it'll hang beside right there, and then there'll be another one on this side. So I'll go ahead and thread those onto their pin as well. And then I'll make those into their part of the pendant. Okay. So I'll hold it tight together and Oh, this is not as easy as I thought it would be. There. If I push down on it on my little mat, usually I can get a better, little tighter bend. There. So that's what it'll look like until I bend it around, snip the wire and bend it around into a loop for it to hang. So let's see, I didn't get my clippers, but these pliers actually have a little clipper built right in, right there. So I guess that might be about long enough. Here we go. And bend it around into a loop. It keeps wanting to slide out of the pliers. There we go. Gotta close that up a little bit more. There. I may need to add an additional ring on this one. We'll see. I'll be right back. Okay, I got that one on, and I went ahead and got the next one up to a point where I can just show you the very last steps of closing the ring around the pendant. And there we are, I think. Yes, there we are. So now what we have, and I was actually thinking about this already, how this hangs, I really think the center pendant will look better if it has a little more length, if it hangs lower so it's not bumping these two on the sides. So I'm going to take this one out, risk breaking that the post off of it so that I can put a ring on it and let it hang lower than these two ones on the sides. So let's see what happens. The more you manipulate a post, I've found out when you're making something, when you're making a pendant or something out of an earring, the more you manipulate the post, sometimes it can start getting weak. I don't know if this is one of those that will do that, but I guess we're about to find out. Okay. So you want to manipulate it as little as possible. Okay, so that's what we have. So I'm going to try rolling it back the other way. That'll be the most dangerous part here. If it's going to break off at all, this is when it'll happen. But this might be one actually that's not going to become weak or brittle. It might be a nice strong one. It actually feels like it is pretty strong now that I'm moving it this way. I believe it is. Oh, sorry, I just realized I wasn't on camera. So I'm going to go get another ring that I'll need to hang that on. Let's see which way will it be going. So I'll need 2 small rings and I'll be right back. 2 more rings. So let's set to work. One of these is more narrow than the other. I want to use, there it is, I want to use the more narrow one to go on the pendant itself, and then the thicker one to go from the pendant to the chain. There we go, a nice loop for that ring to go on. And I'll actually put a little drop of jeweler's glue back there to help just make sure that the end of that loop stays where I put it. So this was just a few seconds for you, but it was a long time for me. The post bent around beautifully, and it's a nice strong one that didn't get weak, didn't break off, but in the process I lost a couple of stones, and they were so tiny I could not get them glued back in there without glue getting all over the front of the stone. So I'm going to have to just save this for some other time and change plans. So instead of this type of layout here, I'm going to take my black faceted glass beads and make something to go in the middle right here. So I'm going to get a little dish so beads won't run everywhere. There, I didn't pause you because I'm just in my kitchen a few steps away from the cabinet where I have these little dishes. So let's see, with a little clear and black, how would that look? Actually, I think that might look kind of nice. Let's see what else I have. I have these round ones here, some more of the same teardrop ones that I have right there. Maybe something longer with a teardrop at the bottom of it to kind of match those two. I think that might work, and maybe some more of those little rondelles in between. Let's see, these smaller little round ones can come down the middle. Well, that one's not really the same size. I don't want to have to dump all of these out, but I do want kind of a good uniform size on the small beads that'll be in the middle. Okay, sort with me for a moment. There's quite a bit going on in this bag. Looks like I have some loose rhinestones in here too. All of these smaller ones are already kind of wired together. Hopefully I can find at least a few more that aren't. Okay, there's one. There's one of the smaller ones. That one's too big. So it looks like I have 4 of those. And then the teardrop. And then I can put the little rhinestone rondelles in between. And it'll be sort of this kind of layout here. But nicer and straighter and hopefully prettier. So, okay, maybe take one of those out so it's not quite that long. Okay, that's what we'll do. So let's get hopping. Need to go grab the rondelles and I'll be right back. And here they are, mixed in with a few other little tiny things. So I'll take a pin and thread it right here onto the bottom of the teardrop. And then in between, I will put the rondelles. I'm thinking about making these into links so it'll kind of have some movement to it. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. But just to give you a little glimpse of the overall completed effect, that's kind of what we'll have when we're done. Something like that. That's a little too long. Maybe I should take a couple of those off. I think that looks better. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. And then I'm going to make these into separate links, so it'll be more like a little chain and have some movement. I'll need 1, 2, 3 pins. Here's the first. And here we go with the second one. And then the last one. Oh, you know what? I don't need head pins for these. I need eye pins. I do need a head pin for the one that'll be at the bottom. But for the other ones, I need eye pins so that they can loop together and make a little chain of sorts. There we go. Okay. Now, correcting my mess up on the previous pendant attempt. Go ahead and thread this one on so that when I close this loop, those two will already be connected and I won't have to open another loop to get them connected. There we go. And now clip this one and do the same thing. And again, hang the next one on before I close it. Nice. Let's see about how long that's going to be on the necklace. And see if I want to keep it at this length or make it a little longer. No, I think that's going to be perfect. There we go. Oops, I left the rondelle off. Let's get that guy on there. There we go. Knew something looked off. And here we go. Oops. Now time to open this up and add it to the pendant. And then the necklace will be complete. Okay, here we go. I thought, here we go. Let's give this another try. There we go. Hope this ring is big enough. These needle nose pliers really help get you close into tight spots. Okay, yes, that worked, but it's going to take a little finagling to get the ends of this ring as closely together as I want them. So I'm going to do that off camera and I'll be right back. And here we are with the finished pendant. There we go. And I really like that. So you have black faceted teardrop beads with rhinestone rondelles in between each one, hanging down from this little whale tail on a silver tone chain with no extender, little spring ring clasp. Super, super cute. And then the earrings right here that I've made from that same necklace. And then last is to complete the purse charm. And what I'll do with the purse charm is I'm just going to add some crystals to that, and I'm going to thread them on very similar to how I did the glass beads for the necklace. So I'm going to, let's see, thread them on eye pins so I can put them together and make a chain like I did right here with this. But it looks like I didn't bring enough eye pins. Well, I did bring enough eye pins for the original plan. The original plan did not involve rhinestones falling out of the first pendant that I tried to make. So I had to use some of the eye pins that I brought for this project and use them right there for that project. So I'm going to use this last eye pin that I have in here with me now, and then I'm going to have to go and get a few more, and I'll be right back. And here we are. This should be enough to complete the project. I brought a lot of little crystals. So I have 4 threaded already. Let's see about how long everything is going to be, because I want this to be a little longer than the daisy chain. Not terribly longer, but just a little bit. Okay, looks like maybe one more will do it. How many is that all together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops. Let me do one more, I think. There we go. And this time I actually have the right clippers. I'm going to go ahead and clip them all so that the linking together will go a little quicker. This will be a really cute little daisy chain purse charm. Those are actually doing pretty well for me. People seem to like them, and it's a great way to, you know, in this case, I took apart a perfectly good necklace, but it's a good way to salvage charms off of, you know, bracelets or pendants off of necklaces, or single earrings with just like these 3 tools, really. And then you can get a pack of head pins and eye pins at you know, your local craft store. And with those basic elements, you can do your own purse charm making. There we go. We'll hook the first one on, and we are off to the races. With our first part of our chain done. There we go. So it goes a lot quicker when you already have everything clipped. You can just, instead of stopping to clip each time, I can just connect the next one and keep right on going. But out of habit, I keep putting down the pliers when I'm done and ready to start rolling the next loop. I've been putting the pliers down each time because I'm used to having to put them down and clip the next wire, because I don't typically clip them all at once and do this, but I should, because of how quick it makes everything go. Okay, before I roll the next one, I'm going to see how long this is. Oh, I have 2 more. I thought that was the last one. The other 2 are hiding. See, I just put it down when I didn't have to. Okay, this is the last one that I'll be hanging on. And then I'm going to see how long it is. Oh, and I have a little eye pin right here at the bottom of this one. So I can hang something off the bottom of that. But what I'm going to do first is make this loop, put it on a jump ring, and close it up. The last one is being stubborn and doesn't want to close all the way. Okay, there we go. And then I'll hang it on the charm, the purse charm hook, clasp thing. Not quite even. There we go. Okay, I need a little extra something because I have an eye right there that needs something. What can I put there? I have a little rhinestone I can hang at the bottom, but that would be weird. Actually, what I think I'll do is just take this one off and put a head pin on it. So all that work for nothing on this one, although it wasn't a whole lot of work. Okay, we'll put a head pin on the bottom. So it'll be finished right there instead of having an open loop. There we go. And we'll attach it on, and then this purse charm will be complete. There we go. Just a nice little bit of sparkle right there. Oh, I was looking at it instead of through the camera. There we go. So we have a purse charm, a necklace, and a pair of earrings. Just because when I saw this necklace at the thrift store, I don't know, I just thought it needed to be earrings. So I thought I would buy it and make it so. So we have now a pair of earrings. These are 3 inches long. The purse charm, the charms on it hang down about 5 inches. Altogether with the clasp, it's 6 inches. The necklace has a drop of 9 inches. And the pendant from the top of the whale tail to the bottom bead is 2.5 inches. So 2.5 inches there, 9 inches on the drop. And then you have 5 inches from here to here, 6 inches all the way down, and then 3 inches on the earrings. And I will have prices on the screen for these for anyone who is interested. Thank you for spending a little bit of your time with me today. I really appreciate all of my viewers and subscribers. If you enjoyed this content, please give me a like and a subscribe and a comment and a share, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.